Whenever I get a present, I always remember to do one important thing. Can you guess what it is? You got it. I say thank you. Here's a song that'll help you remember to say it too. Just listen and say thank you whenever I ask, what do you say? When you get a special present from someone you know, when a friend takes you out to a picture show, when you ask for a cookie and your brother gives you two, what do you say? I hope you said thank you. When your aunt gives you 3 pairs of polka dot gloves and a hat and a scarf she just knows you will love, and you want to be polite 'cause it's the right thing to do, what do you say? Thank you comes right after please. That's the place to look in case you lose it. Say thank you, everyone agrees. People really like it when you use it. When a person does a favor and you want them to know that you really appreciate it, make it show. Let your very best smile come shining through. And what do you say? Say it again. What do you say? Thank you! Last Mother's Day, I wanted to thank my mom for all the great things she does for me. So I decided to buy her the biggest Mother's Day card I could find. I walked all the way uptown from my house, and then I took about an hour trying to figure out which card I liked the best. Then I paid for my card and headed for home. But guess what? Before I got halfway there, it started to rain, and the wind blew really hard, too. I tried to button my coat, and then, oh no! The wind blew my card right out of my hand and into a big puddle. I picked it up and tried to dry it off, but it was ruined. So for the rest of the way home, I sang a little song to make myself feel better. If you know it, sing along. A tisket, a tasket, I took my little basket and went uptown to buy my mom a card, but then I dropped it, I dropped it, I dropped it, and on the way I dropped it. I went uptown to buy my mom a card, but then I dropped it. When I got home, I went straight to my room and tried to think of another special surprise. I thought, and then I said, I know! I'll buy my mom the biggest Mother's Day cake I can find. So I waited till the rain stopped, and then I put on my raincoat, just in case. I walked back uptown again, and I went into the bakery and looked at all their special cakes. Well, it took me about an hour, but I finally decided on a chocolate cake with vanilla icing. That's my mom's favorite. And mine, too. The baker even wrote Happy Mother's Day on it in pink letters. Then he put the cake in a big box and gave it to me. Be careful with this, he said. Don't drop it. I won't, I said, and I headed for home. Well, this time, it didn't start raining, but I bet you'll never guess what did happen. When I finally got to my street, my friend Jonathan's dog saw me, and he started to chase me. Down, Major, I said. Down, boy. I can't play now. But Major didn't listen. He jumped up at me, and then, oh no! My mom's cake went flying over my head and landed right in Mrs. Griffin's rose garden. I tried to mush it back together, but it was ruined. Well, Major, I said, it looks like you get to eat dessert early today. And for the rest of the way home, I sang my song again. A tisket, a tasket, I took my little basket and went uptown to buy my mom a cake, but then I dropped it, I dropped it, I dropped it. On my way I dropped it. I went uptown to buy my mom a cake, but then I dropped it. When I got home, I headed straight for my room again, and I tried to think of one more special surprise. I thought and thought, and then I said, I know, my mom really likes perfume, so I'll buy her the biggest bottle I can find. Then I put my raincoat on again and went back uptown. When I got to the perfume counter, I asked the lady for the biggest bottle she had. Well, I didn't have enough money for that, so I got the next biggest bottle instead. The lady wrapped it up in pretty paper, and then she put it in a bag and said, "Be very careful with this, young lady. It's fragile." "I know," I said. "I'll be careful." And then I hurried out of the store and headed for home. But when I got about halfway there, it started to get dark. So I started to walk a little faster, and then a little faster, and then pretty soon I was running. "Be careful," I kept saying to myself, "be careful." And then when I finally got to my street, I stopped and looked for Major. But he wasn't outside anymore. "Good," I said. But then all of a sudden, my little brother Corky came zooming around the corner on his bicycle. "Look out," I said. But it was too late. The perfume bottle went flying up in the air and landed smash in the gutter. "What was that?" said Corky. "It smells." "Sure it does," I said. "It was perfume for Mom." "I'm sorry," said Corky. But I just said, "It's okay." And for the rest of the way down the block, I sang my song again. A tisket, a tasket, I took my little basket and went uptown to buy my mom some perfume, but I dropped it, I dropped it, I dropped it. On my way I dropped it. I went uptown to buy my mom some perfume, but I dropped it. But when I got home this time, I went straight to my mom and told her everything that happened. "Don't worry," said my mom. "It's all right. And besides, Cricket, it's the thought that counts." "What does that mean?" I said. And then my mom smiled. "It means I'm happy," she said. "Just knowing you went to all that trouble for me. That's the most special surprise of all." I just got a letter from my pen pal Li Po. She told me all about the presents she got for Chinese New Year's. In China, New Year's lasts 5 whole days. And picture this. Li Po gets a different present every day. See if you can help me remember all the presents Li Po got. Just say them right after I do. Li Po got a teapot. What did she get? Li Po got a teapot and a turtle. What did she get? Li Po got a teapot, a turtle, and a tree. What did she get? Li Po got a teapot, a turtle, a tree, and a train. What did she get? Li Po got a teapot, a turtle, a tree, a train, and a top. What did she get? I guess I should be glad we don't have any holidays that last as long as Chinese New Year's, 'cause I could never remember all the presents I got. Remember I told you about Cindy Lou's birthday presents? Well, she got them all at the surprise party I gave for her. When she first walked into the room, everybody was hiding, and then we all jumped up and shouted, "Surprise!" It was lots of fun. You can do it too. First, scrunch down and pretend you're hiding. Then listen to the story, and every time you hear the word surprise, you jump up. Then scrunch down and hide again. Ready? Here we go. Once there was a little girl, surprise, who wanted her birthday to be different, surprise. So she walked backwards, surprise, all day long, and she said goodbye, surprise, instead of hello, and she ate breakfast, surprise, at dinner time. And when her friend suddenly appeared, surprise, she jumped up and shouted, "Surprise!" Well, were her friends surprised or what? That's what they had come to do. It was a surprise party. But who surprised who? Did you ever wish for a birthday present really, really hard and then get just what you wished for? Well, I know a story about a little girl who got what she wished for. But when she did, she wished she hadn't. Want to hear what happened? Well, all right. Here goes. Once upon a time, there was a little princess named Goldie who loved gold more than anything else in the whole world. She loved gold so much that everything around her was golden. Her bicycle was painted gold, all of her dresses were made with real golden threads, and even her dog, whose name was Silky, had long golden hair. And of course, Princess Goldie's own hair was the most beautiful shade of golden blonde you ever saw. But Goldie was still not happy. "Oh, Pooh," she said to Silky one day, "tomorrow is my birthday, and I don't know what to ask for." Then all of a sudden, a voice behind her said, "Ask for whatever it is you want the most." "Silky," said Goldie, "was that you?" "Ruff," said Silky. "Then who was it?" said Goldie. "It was I," said the voice. And then all of a sudden, the most beautiful lady appeared in the room. "Who are you?" said Goldie. "I am your fairy godmother," said the lady. "Tell me whatever it is you wish for the most." So Goldie thought, and then she said, "I wish that everything I touch would turn to gold." "Are you sure?" said the fairy godmother. "Don't you want to think about this for a minute?" "No," said Goldie. "Just grant me my wish. Isn't that what fairy godmothers are for?" "Silly girl," said the fairy godmother to herself. But to Goldie she said, "As you wish, my dear." And then she was gone. The next morning when Goldie woke up, she told her father the king all about the strange dream she had had. "That dream sounds awfully familiar," said the king. "Oh, Pooh," said Goldie, and she poured some milk into her cornflakes. But picture this. As soon as she touched the bottle of milk, the bottle turned into pure gold. And as soon as she picked up her cereal spoon, it turned into gold too. "It wasn't a dream," cried Goldie. "My fairy godmother really did come, and she did grant my wish." "Uh-oh," said the king. "This reminds me of something that happened to me once." "Don't be silly, Daddy," said Goldie, and she reached out to pat her father on his cheek. But the king drew back and said, "No, no, you have the golden touch, remember?" "What do you mean?" said Goldie. "I mean," said the king, "that everything you touch will turn to gold. Not just bottles and spoons, but everything." "Don't be silly, Daddy," said Goldie, and she reached down to pet little Silky. "Ruff," said Silky. But before Silky could say another ruff, what do you think happened? You guessed it. He wasn't a golden-haired little dog anymore. He was a solid gold little dog. "Oh no," cried Goldie. "What am I gonna do now?" "Well," said the king, "do you think that fairy godmother is still around?" And then all of a sudden, the fairy godmother appeared once more. "It looks like you've gotten your wish," she said to Goldie. "Are you happy now?" "No," said Goldie. "I'm the most unhappy princess in the whole world." "But everything you touch turns into gold," said the fairy godmother. "What more could you wish for?" "I wish I had my little Silky again," said Goldie. And then she started to cry. "Please, fairy godmother," said the king, "isn't there something you can do?" "Only if the princess asks me to," said the fairy godmother. "Has she learned her lesson?" "Well," said the king to Goldie, "have you?" "Oh, yes," cried Goldie. "I've learned that all that glitters is not gold, and that you better watch out what you wish for. And I've learned that—" "That's enough," said the fairy godmother. "I believe you." Then the fairy godmother waved her magic wand 3 times over Goldie's head and said, "Golden touch, be gone!" And then suddenly Silky jumped into Goldie's lap and said, "Ruff!" "Oh, Silky," said Goldie, "you're back." "Happy birthday, Princess," said the fairy godmother, and then she was gone. "Well, my dear," said the king to his daughter, "have you really learned your lesson?" "Oh, yes, Father," said Goldie. "I've learned it's always better to give than to receive, and I've learned that happiness is where you find it. And I've learned that—" "Okay, okay," said the king. "I believe you, too." Golly, did that little girl get her wish or what? And you know what I wish right now? I wish we could go right on playing. And we can, too, if you turn my tape over. But whatever you do, just remember,